All right, everybody, welcome to the Freaky Friday Night Marketing Talk webinar. I'm Nathan, and we have Lewis, and Matt Lee's Ghost is here. I say Matt Lee's Ghost because he is busy. He couldn't make it. He's working with a client. He had to attend some kind of networking event for one of his clients, which, to me, that's pretty impressive how he goes above and beyond for them. I mean, I don't know about you, Lewis, but I don't think I'd get paid enough to attend a networking event for anybody. So big props to him. Um, I yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's pretty nice of him, but he will be missed. I was looking forward to having him on here, but maybe we could do that another time. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is webinar on lead nurturing, and I don't know how often you guys are implementing this, if you've implemented it at all, or if this is a new topic. But basically, lead nurturing is really a huge part of the sales process. And, I'm sure some of you cold call. And if you're a cold caller in here and you've talked to somebody and they're interested in, but they're just not ready to buy on the first call, go ahead and give me a 3. Just type in 3. Let me know if you've had that happen. I'm sure you have. 3. There we go. Yeah, of course. Not everybody's ready to buy. And, even if you're doing like email marketing, pay-per-click advertising, and you're generating inbound calls, these are people that are already looking for it. They're interested and they want to talk to you. So you're on the phone, you're giving them a sales pitch. And if they're still not ready to buy on that first call, go ahead and give me a 5. Yeah, yeah, of course. So this is why lead nurturing is important. It covers everything from the first call to the close of the deal. And it's something that everybody should be implementing in every type of industry. It doesn't matter what type of industry you're in. You could be doing SEO, web design, you could be a lawyer, you could be a pressure washing company like Lewis. It doesn't matter what kind of industry you're in, you're going to need to implement some lead nurturing. And Lewis, I'm sure it changes based on industry. I'm sure there's different things that you could do based on what industry you're in, besides just follow up calls like, hey, I just wanted to follow up with you. Are you ready to buy? You know, just the same old follow up calls. What do you do different in your business, Lewis?
Right. So, and I think we should probably go to the next slide. But what I would say is educating your customer and finding ways to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. You don't necessarily have to be the best, quote unquote, because everyone can say they can be the best. I mean,
Right.
but finding a way to say I'm different than my competitors, and this is how this is what separates me from them. Uh, you know, Using lead nurturing, you're able to. That's a media and a medium of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the next slide, and this is just going to cover up, like what you're going to learn tonight, what lead nurturing does. So you're going to learn how to convert more leads into customers, how to build trust and authority, eliminate your competition, because with lead nurturing, there's no reason for your lead to look to any of your competitors. How to set yourself up to not compete on price, how to continue to bring in sales from dead leads, overcoming objections before the leads even have objections. And that's huge. That's definitely huge. And you're going to learn how to automate all of this. So let's go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper. So, what is lead nurturing? So, it's really an education based strategy. It educates the leads, it grooms them to only want to buy from you. With a proper lead nurturing strategy, you can basically tell the leads what to look for that your competitors don't offer, but you do. And this could be a service that you offer, um, that is kind of made up. It's not made up in the sense that it doesn't exist. It's made up as in you've coined a phrase of what to call it. So, kind of like Lewis was saying, it doesn't matter if you're better. What matters is that you're different. So, if you're different and you're doing SEO, you could stop offering SEO. You could be offering internet presence optimization, uh, search engine visibility, whatever. You could coin your own phrase to where only you're using that phrase, and it sets you apart from everybody else because everyone else is just an SEO guy. They want to build backlinks. They want to rank you in the search engines. But what sounds better to you? I mean, what do you think, Lewis? What sounds better to you? An SEO company or a internet presence optimization specialist?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, having a specialist in creating visibility in my businesses sounds a hell of a lot better than Web 2.0s and wiki links.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean that's how it is for everything. You want to differentiate yourself, and I know this isn't just for lead nurturing. This is for sales. This is for your business as a whole, really. Um, and also, it is the most important part of the sales cycle because if you think about it, like some of you already said, you're not getting people to buy on the first call. I've had people buy on the first call. I've had one call closes here and there, but it's not something that could be replicated in our industry and in a lot of industries. Um, you know that that'll happen daily or multiple times a day. It's just not going to happen like that. So the majority of the sales process is really nurturing the lead. And Lewis, I don't know how many people that you get calling for pressure washing or like big contracts. I'm sure it's a long sales cycle. So you got to keep on nurturing those leads. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, very frequently, and even with SEO, web design, lawyers, maybe not dentists, but for the most part, I mean, depending specifically, and this is where I see it happens more often than not. It's specifically with business to business transactions, where you may call them or shoot them an email or however it is you prospect, and at that moment in time, what you're trying to sell them may not even be on a priority list for them. It may not even be on their budget for the year. You may call them January 2nd of 2015, and then they tell you, oh yeah, by the way, maybe I'll fit that into my budget for the next year. So, between January 2nd, 2015 and December 31st of 2015, uh, uh, lead nurturing is a great way to create a presence so that when they are budgeting for it, guess who they're going to hit up? Guys, go ahead. Literally tell me in the chat, who are they going to hit up when it's time to budget in that service? Can you guys hear me? Oh, I'm saying when when you're nurturing this lead and when you're getting distracted with the comments, uh, when you're nurturing this lead and you're consistently touching base with them, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, now I'm going to set up my budget." Who are they going to talk to? Who are they going to hit up?
There you go,
Nathan.
Jason.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And so understanding people's business models, that everyone has a different business model and a different budgetary setup. Everyone buys differently. Sometimes they may already be looking for that, and sometimes it's the last thing on their mind. And so, by consistently talking to them when they are ready to buy, I mean, very, very apparently, I mean, you build a brand recognition, and they're just gonna like, oh yeah, everyone's saying Nathan, yeah, Nathan.
Right. Yeah, and that's what it's all about positioning. Like the last phrase in the slide right there, it really is. That's what it's all about. The entire time, it's all about positioning. And it really isn't just business to business, but it's absolutely critical for business to business. But I see a lot of lead nurturing happening on, higher end business to consumer type sales too. I mean, you always see people researching cars, researching water filtration systems, all this different stuff when it's business to consumer. So I guess it does depend more on the exact product and industry, but I'm pretty certain anybody that implements a lead nurturing campaign, even a dentist. I know you have the people that have uh, emergency dental issues that come up. I mean, I remember one time I was drinking, and I guess it was like a Friday or Saturday night, and me and my buddy were playing like uh, air hockey, and we would like flick the puck up. And what happened was he flicked the puck up along with his whatever thing is that you hit it, and that knocked me right in the grill. And next morning, I was calling around. I was going to anybody who would take me. So it didn't take much lead nurturing there. But even dentists could implement something because they get some higher end services. They have Invisalign, they have implants, things that take more consideration. Something that's not a impulsive purchase. I mean,
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to say that. Once you said B2C, I realized that it's not the market, so to speak. It's the product or service, and it's the price point. That for some people, $1,000 may be nothing, but for some people, $1,000 is like, oh man, I have to really consider this, or maybe it's not my time. You're right. If it's not an impulse purchase, then I mean, you hit the nail right on the head.
yeah, yeah. So let's go on to the next part here. This is the different parts of the lead nurturing funnel. You have top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. And as you learn more about lead nurturing, you're gonna notice that there's different types of content that you could use to really amp up your campaign. So top of the funnel, these are people like, let's say you're just gathering leads on your website. You have an awesome blog, you're doing pay per click, social media marketing, content marketing, all this stuff. You have an awesome blog, you have a lead magnet, get people to opt in. So these are the people that are researching. They're interested or showing a little bit of interest, but they don't really know. This is the education phase, where people are trying to learn a little bit more about whatever it is that they might see a benefit to. And Lewis, you could probably shed more light into this than I can, because you weren't really doing the internet marketing thing. As an offline business owner, when you started researching like SEO and web design and doing all this stuff. Why don't you share a little bit like what you went through? Like you were a top of the funnel lead when you first started getting into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of things that I would say specifically that I was looking for, and it pretty much holds true for almost any industry in any market. And one was I was looking for one of the things I was looking for was um, could I trust them? And I think trust is built from the language that you speak in, meaning not literally the language, but the way that you convey your message, meaning the way that a lawyer may speak, they may speak differently than what a farmer may speak. I'm taking uh, uh, um, really broad ends of the spectrum there, But what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is this, that uh, um, basically, can I trust this person? Is he talking my language? Is he speaking to me on a deeper level than what it is I'm looking for? Um, so
Well,
uh, I
let me
mean,
ask you something else. When you were getting into pressure washing, like I'm sure you had to do a lot of like initial like research. Like what did you have to research? I would guess like equipment, business plan, lots of different things. Like what specific things were you researching?
man, I mean, from head to toe, everything, man. Equipment, techniques, ways to sell people, ways to earn business. I mean, mind you, you know, mind you, I only started 12 months ago, just business in general. So and I'm fairly young, guys. For those of you who don't know me, uh, I just turned 22 in November. But I've been studying business for 3 years now, uh, it was 2 years that I was like, oh, I want to delve into this, and I'm a college dropout, and so I hated college. I wanted to make money, um, but the point that I'm trying to make is this: that when I did that research, I took a holistic approach to it, and I was trying to educate myself uh, uh, to
So
create an edge in my business.
did you buy any products along the way, like to help you learn?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I bought into I spent maybe I spent like 4 grand on training and education.
Well, then somebody had a pretty good funnel,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So when you're planning on your lead nurturing and lead generation funnel for that matter, you have to plan accordingly. You have to think about the content that you'd like to use based on the level that they're at, whether it's somebody that is brand new and they're trying to learn about you, your company, or they're trying to learn what benefits this has, basic starter questions you should be answering. You should be answering in like email sequences or blog posts. This is your top of the funnel stuff. And like Lewis said, it's about establishing authority and trust. Can you trust this person? And that's what people are going to be asking. And they're going to ask that question throughout the funnel, whether they're a brand new visitor to your website and they just opted into some free report, or whether they're, about to sign a check or give you their credit card information. It's something that's going to be in their head throughout the whole process. So you want to adjust your content accordingly to what level people are at. You'll have some content that's going to be right for people a little bit further on. You'll have more content that's going to be better for people that are about to buy, and you'll want to set it up appropriately. So your middle of the funnel content, it's going to be more in-depth articles. It's going to be supporting content for the service that they're interested in or the product they're interested in, whatever you're doing. And the middle of the funnel is where you really position yourself in a unique way. This is where you go on about let's say you're getting a lot of like yellow book leads or people with web.com or Wix, and this is for web designers. If you get a lot of those leads, then you should be pointing out exactly what they're doing wrong and what you're doing right. You're providing them, you're recognizing the problem that they already have, and you're giving them a solution, what you do differently, how your solution fixes this, and it's so much better. How you're different, how you're able to accomplish different results than their previous provider, and um, it's not just web design and SEO. Like if you think about it, uh, everything is really about building trust and positioning. So if you're an attorney, I think we might have a divorce lawyer in here, if I remember the name right. And if we do, like, you could have a free opt-in, um, something like a little guide about 7 things you should do before you file for divorce, or 7 things you should do before talking to a divorce lawyer, something like that, that educates them and positions yourself. And that's something that you should be thinking about no matter what industry you're in, what you're offering. You got to figure that out. What is your unique selling proposition? How can you position yourself in a different light than your biggest competitors? I mean, that's something that you got to think about. Um, and then your bottom of the funnel, these are the people that are going to be, close to buying. And Lewis, I'm sure when you were buying some equipment, you had to do a lot of research first, and maybe you had to talk to a couple companies. So what made you decide to get what you got, like equipment wise and whatever else that you ended up getting?
That's a great question, Nathan. And I would say this: the reason why I purchased what I purchased was one, it was what I thought to be the best in the market. Two, I bought it because there was what they conveyed to be great support, and then three, they had a lot of social proof behind it, and I think that plays a huge role is in creating authority, having social proof, and it establishes a level of trust. Um, I mean, for the audience there, how many of you guys have gone to a friend or a good buddy, and you said to them, "Hey, do you guys know of any good bars out there? Or do you know where the best? How about use Andrea's example, the best Italian restaurant? Or give me a four if you've been through that, and whatever, no matter what they said, you're like, oh yeah, I'll try it. Give me a four if you've ever done that. Exactly. Yeah. And so um, you know, that's just one way to establish trust, one way to establish authority. I can't tell you how many times I've gone up to a good friend of mine and said, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think is a good restaurant to go out to eat?" Oh, McDonald's, and I'd be like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And but funny enough, and I'm gonna tie it all together. Funny enough, if a stranger came up to me and said, "Hey, Lewis, you need to go to McDonald's because it's the best burgers and they have the best fries, and by the way, they have really cold cokes and really nice sprites, and the employees are so friendly," I would look at him and I'd be like, "Hey, dude, I don't know you. Who the hell are you?" Right? I mean, how many of you guys would feel weird if just a stranger started recommending things to you? If you were, they're just telling you, "Hey, go to McDonald's, go out to eat here." Give me a five if if that'd be awkward. Yeah, of course it'd be awkward. And so, the thing about creating a funnel and creating solid content, Chris says 10, super awkward. Yeah, the thing about creating a funnel is becoming a trusted advisor, becoming a friend, knowing what the hell you're talking about. Um, you know, uh, I mean, what do you think, Nathan?
I would do. Yeah, I agree. Um, but I definitely agree. Now, I think we kind of got a little off track there. We'll blame it on your ADHD, but but what I mean, like, specifically, I'm sure, like, when you're buying pressure washing equipment, there's like different specs. There's like all this all this different information that you have to digest. And you were at the top of the funnel before, and then you moved down to the middle, and then the bottom. And so there had to be a lot of research there. I mean, just for pressure washing equipment. I mean, there's maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that there's got to be a ton of like a huge spectrum of like I don't what's it called, pressure per square inch, or
Yeah,
what is it?
pounds per square inch. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I put a lot of time into it. Most definitely. In fact, I'm still learning every day. You know.
So it's more than just becoming a friend. Like there it's not just about being a trusted advisor. Yes, authority is a huge part of it. Trust is a huge part of it, but there's also like basic education. There's um, certain reasons why you bought what you bought besides social proof. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that there's different whatever pounds per square inch or whatever kind of pressure that there is that work on different surfaces. Am I right? Like if you have certain machines or certain settings and you're trying to do it on siding, it's going to rip the siding to shreds.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
that's from like my limited knowledge of having a couple of those clients. So I just figure that you probably went through a couple different funnels when deciding that, and trust, authority, that's huge. Like that's why you stick around. That's why you're willing to listen. And then there's ultimately other things, and these other things that are steering you into a direction of whether you buy or don't buy. That's what's going to make the difference, and that's what you should be focusing your content on, your outreach strategy, your follow-up strategy with these leads, because once you have the trust and authority, you got to continue keeping that, but you also have to feed them whatever other knowledge that they're wanting, more in-depth articles, whatever it is, you got to keep on feeding them. Um, I think we're ready to go on the next slide, unless you have something you want to add, Lewis.
No, this and this slide essentially, guys, is you know like Nathan says, having the research, understanding what the product or service is, and then from there, becoming a trusted advisor, becoming an authority in the space, and eventually becoming the only option for that solution. So, this is good stuff. I mean, I'm ready to move on, but
Cool.
for those of you in the audience, what do you guys think so far? What are your thoughts and opinions on what we're talking about so far? Solid. I like it. Great. Cool. Move on.
All right. All right. So this is how you implement a lead nurturing strategy. There's three different steps really, and it's as simple as content creation, step one; two, establishing trust and authority; step three, converting these leads into customers. Really, that's what it comes down to. But like your step one stuff, content creation, you should have a blog. If you do not have a blog, you're missing out on content marketing. You're missing out on a lot of organic searches of people looking for the type of content that you're putting out. You're missing out on so much content marketing opportunities. You could be in LinkedIn, um, sharing your information in groups, and LinkedIn. We'll probably go into this deeper in another webinar. Um, Maybe more specific for content marketing, but with LinkedIn, I was able to generate over 1,000 visitors a day with just a couple blog posts, and that ended up leading to I don't know, I guess maybe about 40 to 50 leads a day that entered my funnel. Of course, maybe only five or so were qualified, but it's still a good example of using the content that you create to not just nurture leads but bring in other leads. So you need to have a blog. You got to have that. You got to, if you don't know what to blog about, um, it's really pretty simple. What are questions people have when they come to you? You know, if you're not if you're not doing SEO, if you're not doing web design, reputation management, mobile sites, whatever, you're in a offline industry, offline business, there's questions that people have. What are those questions? How could you answer them on your blog? Look at other content, see what other people are doing, look at your competitors. And if you have this content ready, you're going to be doing a lot better than your competitors. If you're in the web design space, SEO, anything to do with internet or marketing, there's no reason to not have a blog because there's so much content that needs to be out there. And you don't even need to have search traffic for this content to be useful. It's useful as part of a lead nurturing strategy. So that's the biggest part of lead nurturing. You gotta have a blog that you can repurpose content to those leads, whether they're in the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or the bottom of the funnel. You got to have it. It's definitely critical. And you should create a lead magnet. A lead magnet is just something that people will give you their email address or information, phone number, whatever, in exchange for an ebook, a guide, a checklist. Most of you have already seen it. If you're into internet marketing or any kind of marketing at all, you've already seen lead magnets. They're everywhere. Lewis, I mean, I'm sure you probably saw about 100 of them a day when you were researching stuff. You probably still see 100 a day, don't you?
Absolutely, man. Give me your email for this. Give me your email for that.
Yeah, yeah,
For everything, man.
and it
And
works.
I'd say depending on what it was about, man, I'd be pretty quick to. Uh, I have Google Chrome. I'll just double click the box and up appears my email and send.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know how many of you follow the Income Only blog, but at the bottom of each post, you'll see a different kind of lead magnet, and of course, throughout, you'll see subscribe to my blog, whatever. But you'll see like I have a content marketing, lead nurturing, lead magnet. I also have like get instant access to the top 64 for niches or niches to target. Um, and
Niches.
people, yeah, niche. I forget that. So just on that blog, that's an example, and it works. People do it. It, it could be existing content. Like I could probably take the blog post I have on the Income Bully blog about lead nurturing, and I could make that a PDF and stick it at the bottom of a post, and people are going to put their information in. So it works. It could be existing content. It could be an existing blog post that you put as a lead magnet, or a checklist. And the next part of like step one, you want to have an autoresponder, and this is important whether you're uh, doing inbound marketing and having inbound leads or whether you're doing outbound marketing, cold calling and talking to people. It's important because um, the autoresponder, you set it up, it's going to nurture those leads, it's going to inform them who you are, it's going to it's going to do marketing for you. It's touching base with them without having to call and bother them and trying to get through the gatekeeper or bother them at home if you're in a business to consumer industry. So that it's definitely a critical part and probably the most useful tool that you'll have when it comes to lead nurturing. So, for example, if you're doing some cold calling and you have a business owner who doesn't do much online, they're not going to go to your website to really, um, click around, and they're not tech savvy or whatever. You could import them into a separate autoresponder campaign. Now, there's different ones. Like I use MailChimp and Aweber. So with MailChimp, you could put leads that don't opt in, but if you talk to them on the phone and they give you their email address for you to send them more information, you could put that into Mailchimp, and they won't make you do a confirmed opt-in or anything like that. Now with Aweber, you can't do that. You can't just type in an email address. You have to have them opt in. So you could have them opt in through a form and just do like the single opt in, or have a double opt in where they put their information in the form and then they have to check their email and click a link and confirm. I don't do that. I only do that on like blog subscriptions. um, I just have like one opt-in on the form, and that goes to Aweber, and there's an email sequence that I send out. um, but Mailchimp is the same thing. Like there's an email sequence that's sent out to people that become leads through cold calling. um, and the same could be done if they're calling in from like a postcard, or any other method. Now, Lewis, are you already doing autoresponders, or what are you doing?
Uh,
I know
yeah,
you're still new, so I'm not sure if you've really created a lot of content for like client side stuff. But what about the pressure washing? I don't know.
yeah. I've been delving into it some, and as we speak, I am currently working on it, and I know the power of it, man. Uh, um, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know if you were planning to tell them this or not, but or if you had even thought about it, but the percentage of people that buy from you is staggering. The more touches that you give to them, isn't that right, Nathan?
Yeah, yeah, because you know when it comes to sales, and let's say you're cold calling, I don't know how many people in here are cold callers, but um, if you're cold calling, you talk to somebody, how many times do you do you hear, okay, give me a call next month, and you call them and you keep following up, and then some people say, okay, give me a call in 6 months. And then 6 months later, you give them a call, but they already hired somebody else to do it. They forgot all about you. How many times has that happened to you guys? Give me a three. Give me a three if you've called somebody that you talked to before and they already forgot about you and hired somebody else all the time. Andrea says it happened between days instead of months. Didn't cold call. That's crazy. That really sucks right there. So yeah, and it happens. So I think that's a good point, Lewis, because the more touches that you have, the better. That they won't forget about you. Now, of course, if you have like a personality clash and piss them off in some way, then probably you don't want to touch them much. But for the most part, yes, that's exactly what you want to do, and that's what lead nurturing does. And the autoresponder campaigns. Now, just because you have an autoresponder set up doesn't mean you don't follow up with them by phone. You always want to have a personal touch to it, and I'm sure you do that too, Lewis. Right? I mean, it's not just emails. It's not just stuff like that. You actually meet with them. You call them. Um,
Yeah, actually, I try to stop meeting with these people, man. I try to stop meeting with them as often as possible. I know that sounds crazy, but the answer to that is, now I send the employees, right? No, but you're right. No, having touches on the phone or having touches on email, it's perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I don't do meetings either. Well, very, very rarely, because most of the people I deal with are across the country, which my number one state is your home state, Texas. I love Texas, but before we get sidetracked, I guess we should go on to the step two. So after you're done creating the content, setting up your autoresponder campaigns, your lead magnets, all that stuff, step two is all about establishing authority, moving the top of the funnel leads further down in the funnel, doing something to get them progressing towards the goal, which is the sale. So that's what the second step is. Now that could be like some case studies. That could be, um, actually case studies work really well with this because you could show what you've been able to do in other industries or further expand on what they're interested in. So it progresses them, it gets them excited, it hypes them up. um, and it's really more focused content for what they're interested in. And with this step in your content creation and lead nurturing, um, this is probably the most important. You can overcome objections before they even have them. That's huge because, well, you're probably saying, well, how could I overcome objections when when they don't even know they have them yet? Well, it's easy. You already know the objections everybody else has. Why should I use you since Joe Blow down the street only costs half the price? There's tons of examples. And Lewis, I'm sure that you've come across that a lot, right? Like, what are the objections that you face?
Oh man, most of the time it's price, man, and I think that's with anybody, um, which is why with lead nurturing it's so great, simply because then you can build value in yourself. Um, and I'll give you guys an example. I'm waiting to find out on that $500,000 bid in my business right now. I'm waiting on it, and I think on Monday I figure out who they pick. But I was the highest bid by far. But the guy told me, I spoke with him, and he said, I asked him, I said, well, look, between me and you, if you had to rate this deal between a 1 and a 10, what would you say it is? And he told me a 9, and I said, well, what would make it a 10? He said, well, listen, Lewis, this is the thing. You were the highest bid. However, you know your shit. That's what he told me. He said, you know your shit, and and um and you're the only one in the group that really I feel can knock this project out, even faster than the deadline that I'm setting. So I built trust with him. I showed him that I was an authority, and you know now the last objection is figuring out whether or not the value of my services outweighs the price tag that it holds.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Andrea was talking in the chat while you were talking. I was taking a look at the chat. Um, and this goes back to the couple days that he talked to a client and then followed up and already went with somebody else. And she said that they didn't have the budget for him, and the one that they ended up going with was 2 times the price. So he says that he guesses that he didn't give her a good perceived value, which might be the case. That definitely might be the case. But when it comes down to a proper lead nurturing campaign or strategy in your business, it really isn't about perceived value because you're showing them what the value is. You're giving them the expectations. You're showing them what to look for, and of course, if you're doing this right, you're showing them everything that you do. You're giving them advice on, you know, 5 things to look out for before you hire whatever company or whatever industry company. And when you're doing that, you're positioning yourself the entire way. You're setting the buyer criteria. You're setting expectations. You're differentiating yourself, which is much more than just a list of things that you offer and trying to fluff up the list as perceived value. That rarely is not the reason why somebody chooses to not do business with you. It really isn't. It's usually something in the funnel, in the lead nurturing process, the funnel, sales funnel, sales cycle. There's something that happens that you do wrong that causes that. Now, of course, not everybody that enters your funnel is going to buy from you, and that's a good thing because your funnel is, well, maybe it's not a good thing, but your funnel filters out the bad leads, the ones that aren't qualified, the ones that aren't really interested, and you're only getting the good leads. You're spending your time on people that are qualified, people that are willing to pay the price that you set. Um, so that's why it's so important. Um, and and Lewis, I think you kind of understated that in your example. I mean, you do a lot in your with your bids and probably relationships with the higher end clients. Am I right?
Yeah, and you have to, you have to if you want to earn their business, you have to.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely an important thing, and a lot of people get hung up on price. And of course, there's going to be people out there that aren't going to buy from you because they could get, well, they think that they could get a $5,000 website for $5, or they could build it themselves on Wix or one in one, things like that. And it's the same in other industries. If you look into family law, you have people going through problems like marital problems, they're getting divorced. You have, how many times do you see like one person has the smarts to get an attorney while the other has the ego thinking that they could represent themselves, so you'll always have people that are trying to lower the price or seek freebies and stuff like that. But those are people that you don't want to work with anyway.
Exactly.
So step three, converting these leads to customers. Um, this is where you really push like a free consultation, or but you want to word it differently. It's not just a free consultation, it's a free visibility analysis. If you're doing SEO, it's a free search engine friendly design consultation or analysis, whatever you could do to stand out and be different. Remember, it's all about differentiating yourself. You don't need to be better, you just have to be different. And that allows you to do it. So you want to offer something where you could get on the phone and like really build up the trust, the authority, showing them what's wrong, what you could do better, why they should choose you. And this is really where you could close people. This is where they're ready to buy. Um, and I'm sure, Lewis, you have probably countless situations like that with pressure washing, not just big bids, but probably like smaller homes too, where you go in or you've been talking to somebody and they just wanted a phone call first, and then later on they want you to come out, and it's almost a done deal at that point after you do your job of nurturing a lead in the pressure washing world.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, this is how I've been kind of figuring it. If I can keep someone on an initial phone call for more than it's typically like 6 minutes, man, the percentage and the rate at which I close people who stay on the phone with me that long, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, everything you're saying is like right on point, brother.
Cool, cool. Yeah, and guess we could probably go on the next slide. But before I do, I want to talk about just kind of touch on this. You said if you keep them on for what, 6 minutes, was it?
Yeah, it's normally like 6 minutes, 5 6 minutes,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Absolutely. When I have a call and I have them on for at least 15 minutes, it's like a 80 to 90% chance that I'm closing it. Now, if it's 20 minutes, it's almost 100%. But then again, I also qualify them out if they're not somebody I want to work with. But uh, that's probably a topic for another day. But that's definitely a a good example of lead nurturing in the sense that it's not really a content marketing heavy strategy. It's, you have them on the phone. The longer they talk, um, the better your chances are, because the longer you have a conversation, the more they're going to trust you. So you want to lengthen the conversation as long as they're a qualified lead, and keep it going as long as possible. Ask them questions. Listen. Listening is so important. What you say, of course, is important, but what you don't say when they're talking is possibly even better. A lot of people want to talk. The more somebody talks, like if me and Lewis met for the first time and I'm just going on talking to him and talking to him, he's listening. Even though he hasn't said much, I probably automatically trust him because he has been such a good listener. And it's not just, in the world of sales. This is life. It's definitely life. What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd say it's a give and take thing. You give value, and you take what they say. I mean, man, I might get deep and philosophical here, but you know, it's just a give and take thing. And man, Andrea says it's really long to explain. I guess a webinar only on analysis should be necessary. Yeah, I mean, we're working on it, bub. We thought that this webinar was going to be too short. And this is the second time, we're working on it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Let's move on.
yeah. So this slide is more about like using your email marketing for lead nurturing. This is the three initial stages of content and email. So stage one, introduction. This is important. A lot of people skip it. Seriously, a lot of people skip the introduction. There's countless internet marketers out there that make really good money, but they miss the introduction. Like somebody subscribes to their list and they're just hammering them with offers, and sometimes there's a lot of value in it too, but a proper introduction is missing. And I'm guilty of that as well. In my business, I forgot all about the introduction. People subscribed um, to whatever content I had, like a white paper, checklist, different things on my business blog, not Income Bully, but my business blog. And then once I implemented a separate introduction to whatever autoresponder sequence that they were going to receive, my open rates were higher, my click through rates were higher, and more leads ended up going to the bottom of the funnel. So an introduction is definitely important. You should be telling them who you are, what you stand for, why you're different, what you do, what your strengths are, whatever. This is telling them about you, your business, how you could help them. And it's important to remind them because a lot of people subscribe to a lot of different email lists. Uh, I forget the number. Isn't it like 147 emails a day, they say, is the average people get? I know it's something crazy high like that. But
If you saw the one that I used to subscribe for all these subscription lists, I mean, I probably have like 400 a day.
yeah, yeah. So the introduction is important. It could set you apart, and definitely don't forget it. Now, the next stage content and emails is education and engagement. It's about educating your prospect or lead, uh, into making buying decisions. What's important? What do they need to look for? What are your strengths? What do you offer that nobody else does? Why you're different? All that good stuff. You want to engage them. You want to make the content very engaging. Um, and Lewis, you've seen a lot of this stuff, as you've been trying to get into, starting your own, web design and marketing, local advertising company. I'm sure you've seen a lot of content, and you know what what do you expect from somebody when you join a list, you fell for the lead magnet? What do you expect? What kind of content do you want? And I don't know what specifically you're looking for, but you're looking for something, and you liked whatever lead magnet it was. It was informational. What do you expect next?
Right. So I'll give you two examples, and I'll try to keep it brief. The first example, let's say, and um, now that I'm getting ready to start the whole SEO web design thing, let's say I'm looking for a tool to make my life better. I know you talk a lot about Mobile Renegade, which I just recently bought into,
Yeah.
and I love it. For those of you who haven't seen that yet, y'all need to take a look at that. But and I think we're gonna make a video on that pretty soon, right?
I actually did do a short video on the blog.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. I thought you hadn't made it yet. Anyways, when I bought into before I bought into Mobile Renegade, I wanted to learn more about the features that it did, and not so much the features, but I guess I wanted to be educated. I wanted to, um, uh, and the guy that made it, he was very friendly. He added me on Skype, and we even talked for like 30 minutes, um, and showed me a little bit how to use it. Uh, so for in that sense, there's hundreds and hundreds of tools available out there. And what made it different was three things. Nathan said that it was awesome, so I was like, okay, sure, Nathan, I trust you. Nathan said it was awesome. Then two, I was educated on that software, and then three, I had a little support. Um, I had a little support from it. So that's the first part. Now, another example, what to expect from a lead nurturing. Um, now, okay, if I'm looking to get a service done, right? Um, what I expect to learn out of that is to take some sort of value out of it. So people can define value as so many different things. And the way that I would define value is this. Um, I'm either going to learn something to grow my business, learn something to save money in my business, or I'm going to learn something to save time. And really, that's probably uh, there's probably only two or three things that it ultimately boils down to. And if you're taking notes, uh, if you're not actually, let me rephrase that. If you're not taking notes, you need to be, because there's three things that it boils down to, and it's this. It is money, time, and happiness. Did you guys get that? Money, time, happiness. Let me explain. If you can save or make me money, let's talk. If you can save me time, let's talk. If you make me happy, let's talk. Uh, and what do you guys think about that? Give me a four if you agree with that. Give me a four if you agree with money, time, happiness. Yeah, 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 exactly. And so when you subscribe to this, or if you're starting um, a lead nurturing system or sequences, you want to be able to save a person time, you want to save them money, or you want to make them happy. I mean, that's it. That's it. Some sort of form of entertainment or enjoyment or pleasure reading it. You know, that's what I would say that I would expect from a lead nurturing sequence.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was actually an excellent point. And you told me the other day you never watched Mad Men, but it all comes down to happiness, really. You know, you have happiness, then that's huge. That's why all these advertisement campaigns are, all about happiness.
Yep,
I mean,
that's it,
you look
man.
at, look at the all those stupid pharmaceutical commercials where you have this girl running in a park and she's all smiling and happy and they're talking about her new syphilis medication and she's just happy as can be while they're naming off all their side effects and may cause night terrors and breast cancer and all this other stuff. It's
Die, but this could possibly make you feel better for one of your symptoms.
yes, this can make you happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, oh man, those commercials, they killed me. Um, but but that was an excellent point. It's, happiness. It's huge. Can I save you time? Like that's gonna make you happy. Can I save you money? That's gonna make you happy. So really it is just happiness. Happiness is
Absolutely.
you know, uh, happiness is huge. So anyway, before we get sidetracked and talk about all these other pharmaceutical commercials where people are acting so happy, let's go on to we need to get to the third point,
Oh,
Lewis.
oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So the third step is preparation to do business with you. This is the final stages. What like put something like what can you expect once we get started, and give them an outline. So you're setting the proper expectations. They're already committing to buying you. They just haven't paid yet. You're just setting expectations for yourself to make the fulfillment process much easier. So there's not really much to expand on with this. Um, consultations, demonstrations, things like that. It's not an area a lot of people have trouble with. The first two stages are usually the most complicated for people. Would you agree with that, Lewis?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't qualify them right, or if you don't prove yourself an authority, I guess you only have so much time to do it, really, after the first point of contact. Before they forget you, or absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people buy well over a year after contacting them. Actually, pretty recently, there was a guy I talked to about a year and a half ago. Followed up maybe two or three times by phone, and just had him in my autoresponder sequence, and that was it. So he ended up calling. He's like, "Hey, man, I've been wanting to get back to you, but I've been busy. We've had a lot of snow, this, that, whatever other excuse you could imagine." And he ended up buying. He's like, "Okay, I'm ready to pay. I want to get this started." And you know what? He bought, and I still, all his stuff is complete, but I still haven't heard from him. I mean, I'm getting a monthly payment from him, and I left him a voicemail like, "Hey, everything's done. Um, just want to see what you think. Let me know. Give me a call." Never heard from him, but he's still paying monthly, and I assume he likes the website. So that's it's pretty crazy. But that just goes to show you that lead nurturing does work. It works not just for short term sales, but long term. People that you long forgot about, they could pop back up, give you a call, and say, "Hey, you ready to process my payment? I'm ready to get started." It happens. It happens a lot. So yeah, let's go ahead and move to the next slide here. Um, okay, so continued education and engagement. And the section here, let's face it, leads don't always buy when we want. And that's true. No matter what kind of nurturing we do, some leads that we want to buy aren't going to buy, or they're not going to buy when we want them to. But the most important thing about this is nurturing your current customer base. And I just mentioned Mad Men a minute ago, and one quote from the TV series Mad Men was, I might be paraphrasing here, but it's the second you sign on a client is the same second you start losing them. And that stuck with me because it's so true. Once you get somebody as a client, it's a process of keeping them now. And the nurturing process doesn't stop once they buy. It keeps on going and going. You got to make sure the fulfillment's in order. You got to make sure that they're happy. They continue seeing you as an authority. They continue trusting you. They continue seeing you as a thought leader. This is huge. This is how you build up your monthly income, your recurring income from hosting, SEO. Hopefully you're in a service that allows for a monthly income. Like Lewis, I told Lewis, he said that what was it? You have the commercial side of things that you have like regular maintenance, right? But it's the the consumer side that you didn't have like any kind of plan available. It was just like a once a year type thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you got to figure out something that you could do to bring in monthly income, residual income, something. I'm sure that you guys could figure it out. If you're doing website design, it's easy. Hosting, you could upsell them to SEO if you do SEO. SEO is usually already a monthly service anyway, and you should be getting a setup fee too. Just saying. But anyway, we could talk about that in another webinar. But I just want to share the importance of nurturing your existing client base, your customer base, because these are the people that are going to give you referrals. These are the people that are going to keep on paying. And I've had countless customers this week, actually, multiple customers this week who I've designed a website for, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, who ended up committing to another a website redesign because of content that I created a long time ago in my autoresponder that set them up for tips like when they need another redesign. And I started implementing that, and now they're coming to me instead of going somebody else. And it doesn't matter how good you are, how great their experience was with you, if you don't have a lead nurturing or a customer nurturing system in place at this point, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunities. There's companies out there that are calling your clients daily. I guarantee it. Every single day, they're getting a call from your competitors. They're getting countless emails every single week trying to offer the same services that you do. And if you fall off your game and you're no longer seen in their eyes as an authority, or if the trust isn't where it once was through no fault of your own, that's they're gonna end up leaving. That's just how it goes. Um, it really is. Now, Lewis, have you ever used anyone for SEO, or have you always done it yourself?
No, up until I'd say about 4 months ago, back in October when I forgot which animal hit for Google, um, but I had been hiring it up until that point, and then I got slapped, and then I just started doing it myself.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Now, I think last week you said that you got a lot of calls. Do you still get a lot of calls for SEO, web design, all this other stuff out there? Um, uh, uh, just give me an estimate. Like, how many calls do you get per day or per week?
Oh, you mean if I'm SEOing the SEO site? No, it's still under development, but I'm doing a
No,
little
no,
networking.
no. I'm talking about like how many calls do you get a week for your pressure washing company from people
Oh,
pitching you SEO or web design?
oh, oh, that man, I'd say roughly between 10 and 15 phone calls a week, and then the amount of emails that go to the spam is astronomical.
Yeah, that's crazy. So there you guys go. You see it right there. He does pressure washing, which, pressure washing is not an industry that is targeted often. So if he's getting 10 to 15 calls and countless emails by people, offering these type of services, how many are your clients that are in more popular industries like roofing or dentists, lawyers? How many calls are they getting? Think about this. This is your clients are getting hammered. So that's why a, a customer nurturing process, once they buy, once everything's delivered, you don't stop nurturing them. If you stop nurturing them, they're gone. They're going to somebody else. I guarantee it. So, what types of content do you use for this? There's lots of options. You could do a monthly newsletter, which is okay. It's semi effective. At least they get to see your name and like who it's from, and that you're still in business, you're still doing stuff. In-depth blog posts. Now this is actually I sometimes write very specific blog posts just for customers. Like if I know that they're a little weak with sales, like I'll write one, just for sales. And explain different techniques, and that seems to go pretty well. So you might want to think about what their current needs are, even though you fulfilled your whatever you promised. What are their needs? What kind of further education do they need? um, think about that and put content together for that specific situation. Because if one company has that problem, you're going to have other clients that have the same problem. So you could reuse that content. How to like do-it-yourself type articles. Now this is good for like if let's say you're just doing website design and you're not doing any kind of citations or like SEO. This is a good opportunity for you to get their business for SEO. Show them how to set up their Google listing, how to claim their citations on Yelp, Yahoo, their Bing local listing. Um, show them all this stuff. You show it to them, they'll appreciate you showing them how to do it, but they'll also automatically know to come to you since they already have a working relationship with you instead of one of these other companies that are calling them. So that's something to think about. Monthly magazine. Even though Matt Lee wasn't here, he has an excellent monthly magazine that he gives out. It's a white label PLR type content, um, and it's perfect for anybody doing marketing that has clients. Talks about like SEO, social media, lots of different things. So all you have to do with that is put in your logo, and I don't want to pitch you guys on his product, but it really is good. It's worth taking a look at. Otherwise, you could put together your own like monthly magazine. I've done it. It's worked extremely well. I don't do it anymore because it took a lot of time. It took probably 2 whole days just to, put stuff together, content wise, format it all, get graphics done, and I just didn't care enough to keep doing it. There's other methods, so you could do it yourself. I'm really not good with graphics, and I think when I was doing this, my graphic artist was like really backed up, so I wasn't going to have him do it. So I had to do it. It took a lot of time. So if you're good at graphics, you could probably create your own, and that would be a good idea for lead nurturing. But you could also do it in other industries. There could be, HVACs, roofing companies, lawyers, dentists. They could have a monthly magazine, like a internet magazine. So this isn't just for those of us that are in offline marketing. This is for multiple companies out there in different industries. Videos. Lewis, Lewis loves videos. Every single time we talk, he's like, "Oh man, you should do this, you should do that, blah blah blah, video, 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 video," and he's obsessed with videos, and a lot of people are. I mean, the second biggest search engine the internet is YouTube, and I forget how many minutes are watched every single day, but it's some absurd number. But videos. There's people like Lewis out there that don't want to read a blog post; they want to see it in video. I personally don't care about videos much because I could read through content much faster than I can listening to a video. So, there's people out there that want to see video. Videos are cool. Videos are engaging. They increase the time on site. They increase other metrics. They're useful beyond just lead nurturing. So, think about putting up a YouTube video. You could get any kind of screen recorder, set up like a little PowerPoint presentation, record your screen, upload it to YouTube, and you have this type of content specific to clients. And this would be a great one if you're doing web design and SEO, and you want to do like an over the shoulder walkthrough of setting up your Google listing. If they see the stuff that you're doing and then, they don't want to do it themselves, they're going to call you. But even if they don't, they're going to keep paying you the monthly hosting bill because you're helping them with how to do things on their own. Am I right, Lewis? I mean, you love video so much. Uh,
I do,
so
man.
I'm sure that this is your favorite part right there.
Yeah, no, I really do love video, man, and it just depends on what it is you're talking about because for some things I prefer blog posts over videos, but for example, if you were talking about a software, if you were talking about something like Mobile Renegade, then I would want to see what it is you're doing instead of a blog post, or if you're talking about on-page SEO or just some other things, I'd like to see it. It just depends for me.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
And also what's beautiful about video is if you first make a video and then have someone transcribe it for you, not only do you have a video but then you have a blog post. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Ryan Deese does that too. He has his videos, and then I forget what it was. It was like the machine process or something. I was watching like the video series, and then next thing I know, he's got a book out on the same thing, and it's just like a transcript of the video. So it's smart. It's multiple mediums or multiple types of content for different ways to use it. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a cool piece of content to use for your lead nurturing and customer nurturing. So next we have ebooks. Ebooks are great. You could use it in any industry. Lewis could use it for pressure washing. It doesn't matter how you or what kind of industry you're in, you could put some kind of buyer's guide, like don't use whatever service until you read this, or the top 7 most important things about this. So you could easily put an ebook together. It doesn't have to be long. It could be, just a 1, 2, 3 page PDF. You don't have to get fancy. It's just something that's going to add value. And that's definitely a useful piece of uh, piece of content. Another thing, podcasting, and this is something that a lot of people don't use. Um, I mostly see it with marketers, like some marketers. A lot of people will use it in like health niches, and I see all kinds of podcasts on conspiracies, but it's a unique way to stand out. I mean, what about you, Lewis? Have you ever seen um, podcasts for like local businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. All pretty much all the time.
Really, for just a regular local business?
Oh, you saying local business? I thought you meant for like the market. Not so often, but if they did and they marketed, if they marketed it, mark, if they did that correctly, then it may work. I know that I'm
I
sure
was
that if
just curious because I know that you probably look in your local market much more, like a lot more than I do. So I was just curious. I mean, I know some marketers do it, and one of the guys I helped out when he was first starting, he didn't have any sales. Now he's doing like 30,000 a month or so. He just started doing a podcast, and I think he's like on his, I don't know, 17th or 18th week of doing it, and the results have been pretty good for him. So this is definitely something that I think a lot of people, at least in marketing, should be doing, or anything that requires, more in-depth knowledge, something that's a longer sales process. Maybe different webinars on that. I think probably attorneys could do it. Um, what other markets do you think? I guess personal trainers could do it. It probably wouldn't be a fit for every single industry, but it would definitely be a good fit for most marketers.
Yeah, I know. I think that people who sell books or educational programs would benefit from podcasting. I think that people who do like cooking networks. I mean, you think of the things that are on TV, and technically that's a podcast, but in the form of TV. You
Right.
know what I mean? So, you have home improvement people doing that. You have the food channel. I mean, there's all kinds of things. There's this guy that, I mean, he's been going viral lately. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, the Tipsy Bartender or something like that. I've seen him around on Facebook. That's a podcast, and I don't know exactly what he sells, but there's just so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually seen it a lot, like more like niche based information stuff, and besides the marketers, but like a lot of survival type websites. Those will uh, those will have podcasts. So it's not for everybody, but if you're in marketing, if you're offering web design, SEO, all these other different marketing services, a podcast makes sense. It's something I want to implement eventually with Income Bully, but I mean we have the webinar series and other stuff, but I would like to get into podcasting. So I think it's worth looking into it and definitely shouldn't be overlooked. So let's go ahead and get through the next slide. Unless Lewis, do you have anything to add to this? Is there any other type of content that you would add that I forgot?
Nope. Let's move forward, brother.
Well, so some tools you might need. MailChimp. Now I use MailChimp for if you've bought my ultimate blueprint to start a web agency, you probably saw the part on email marketing. I I send a lot of emails, cold emails. So these aren't. It's a completely different topic. Um, I still use Mailchimp, but I use Mailchimp for lead nurturing when it's a cold call. Like if I'm talking to somebody and I'm gauging whether they'd be a good fit, whether they'd have interest, and they want to see additional information, I'll get their email. Boom! I put them into an autoresponder campaign. Um, so uh, I use it. I use Mailchimp for that. But any kind of website content, any kind of inbound marketing, I use Aweber. Um, it's just there's two different purposes. I like Mailchimp because um, to me they're not as strict when it comes to putting in whatever emails you want. Plus, I have a ton of emails in there that are scraped. Um, and it's frowned upon with a lot of email marketing providers. So That's why I like Mailchimp with that. But anything else, you probably want to go with like Aweber or maybe Get Response. There's another option. You could use Amazon SES, which is super cheap. It's great for a big list, but or even a small list. I mean, we're talking about pennies here. It's so freaking cheap. The problem is the delivery sucks. People say that the delivery is awesome because whatever, it's Amazon, but these are the people that probably don't know much about email marketing. I've sent millions and millions and millions of emails each week, each month, tens of millions each month. I send 4.5 million emails every single week, cold emails. So I've had my fair share of testing, and with Amazon SES, um, my open rates are about 500% lower, maybe 600% lower than what they are with MailChimp. So, if you use Amazon SES, I mean, just be aware that most of your emails aren't going to get through. Say it's really high quality delivery. It really isn't, because there's people like me that probably ruin the delivery for other people. um, but that's why I recommend Mailchimp. Mailchimp's a good solid email marketing tool for outbound. Now inbound, you set up lead magnets on your website. You want to use Aweber. Their delivery is awesome. Their open rates are awesome. That's what you want to do. Um, Lewis, have you tried much email marketing yet?
Be honest with you, it doesn't necessarily work in the exterior service, especially in a local exterior service company for that market, because property managers normally set their stuff to like any incoming emails get spammed. But I know for sure that um, in some other niches, and the only thing I can really think of. Um, is like you said earlier, the high ticket B2C or most B2B sales. Um, uh, you know, that's really the only way I can see that happening. Um, so
Yeah,
I
I
will play around with it.
I definitely
Go ahead.
meant more like on the agency side of things. Like you're just trying to get clients for web design and SEO. I mean, have you tried it yet for that, or are you
No, I'm
still?
like I'm delving into it now as we speak. I'm trying to set up some sequences.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. So okay, let's just go on to the next. I was going to ask you what you liked using, but I guess you haven't had a chance to really check any out.
Not yet, brother.
Cool. All right, so next thing that you're going to need, and it doesn't matter what type of site you have, whether it's Joomla, WordPress, Drupal, um, basic HTML, you're going to need opt-in forms. If you have a lead magnet, you created an ebook or a buyer's guide, a checklist or a white paper, whatever it is, um, you want an opt-in form. You want an opt-in form so people could put in their information, whether it's just the name and email address, or whether it's name, email address, phone number, company name, website, whatever. You need an opt-in form. For WordPress, what I like is Magic Action Box. I had it on the Income Bully blog. So that's my preference. I'm not huge on WordPress. I'm not a WordPress fanboy by any means, but I know a lot of marketers like WordPress. I know a lot of people in the online space like WordPress, and I know it's very popular. I personally like Joomla, but I can't deny that WordPress is probably the easiest content management system to use. So I don't have a lot of experience in trying a ton of different opt-in forms and form plugins, but I really, after a lot of research and trying some out, I really like Magic Action Box, and we'll have a link at the end of this if you guys want to check it out. I think it's they have a free version and then there's a paid version, and you can see if you like it with the free version. Um, it just didn't have the flexibility that I needed. Um, and it's important for the opt-in forms to tie into whatever API of the autoresponder or email marketing platform that you're going to be using. Next thing that you might want is like if you don't want to do content yourself, you might want to find like PLR content. You could just do a simple Google search and find basically whatever you need, whatever industry you're in. You could find PLR content that's already been made, and this is stuff that you could buy for. Sometimes it's just a couple bucks, sometimes it's $20. It just depends on the industry, but it's definitely worth it. I've known a lot of people in a lot of different industries, and in fact, I created, well, I guess it wasn't PLR, but it was a guide for garage doors. It was a garage door guide for a company that I worked with, and I get a lot of those companies doing web design stuff, and I saw this PLR out there, so I decided to create one of my own that I could use for multiple clients, and I did. So that this buyer's guide for brand new garage doors, it gets a ton of opt-ins for these companies. I personally didn't think that it would do too well, um, but it is. It's working great. They're I think the worst one is generating like 10 new leads a week, and these are sometimes in small cities. So it's definitely something you should look into, especially if you're pressed on time. If you don't have much time, do a search, look for some PLR content, adjust it if you need to, and boom, there you go. There's your lead magnet, or boom, there's your middle of the funnel offer. So there's a lot of things that you could do with it. You could use it for lead magnets, middle of the funnel stuff, customer nurturing. After they already bought, more information. So it's really something that could help you speed the process up. And all you'll have to do is a small Google search and do a little bit of research. I don't have any personal recommendations on different types of PLR content. I personally don't use a lot of it. Um, I, I create most of the content myself, so I haven't really done much of it. Now there are sites that I don't care about, or clients that are a little bit cheaper, so I want to make sure the time is good. Now I'll go ahead and do a search. I think Easy PLR is one source. I'm not sure. You guys will have to ask me later when I could look it up or Google it. Next thing is Matt Lee. He was supposed to be here tonight. He couldn't make it because he was busy at his client's networking event. God bless his soul, because that is soul wrenching. Lewis, where'd you go? Anyway, Clicks Magazine. It's the magazine we talked about a little bit earlier. It has a lot of different content, and this is specific to marketers. Like you're not going to want this if you're in a different industry. If you're doing SEO or web design, social media, reputation management, it's a good source. It does cost money though. I think it's like $17 a month, but it's done for you. All you have to do is put in your logo, your brand, your website, phone number, whatever, and it's a good source. You could also do it yourself if you have some great Photoshop skills, but if not, that's a good alternative. Um, is there anything that you'd like to add, Lewis? If you're there, if you're back from your bathroom break.
Yeah, man, I had to run real quick. I just caught the last part. Um, yeah, I mean, as far as the PLR content, I myself am still learning some of that as well. So I can't say I can speak much to that. However, I have heard of it. I have looked into it, and I guess I'm in one of the funnels right now as we speak, as far as the education.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, are there any tools that you have found along the way that you think should be included in this list?
You know what? When I test them out, I will be sure to make a either a small video for you guys, or yeah, that'll probably be what it'll be. I'll make a video for you guys as I test it out.
All right, fair enough. All right, so I think that sums up that slide. Now we're at the questions and answers. And guys, check this out. It's before 2 hours, so um, an improvement over last week. It's not 2.5 hours. So what kind of questions do you guys have? I know some of you asked some stuff earlier, but I can't keep track of all that.
Oh, there was a good one over here just a second ago.
There was somebody earlier. I forget what it was, and I said I would answer it later. I think it was John, but I'm not sure he's here. He had to grab his girlfriend.
Yep, yep. David's question though. Um, he says, "Are you saying for scrape leads go with Mailchimp? Have you had issues with them saying they will ban you for complaints?"
Um, all right, let's see here. Well, yes, scraped leads, yes, go with MailChimp. Amazon SES, now I still use that for scraped leads. You just don't want to use it for autoresponders. Scraped leads, I mean, everybody's going to ban you for complaint. Everybody. There's not a legitimate email marketing service that will not ban you for complaints. So, there's a way around it. And the way around it is you have to remove the emails from the domains or email services that have what's called a feedback loop. A feedback loop, if you have AOL, you see a big "this is spam" button. You see that with Hotmail, you see it with Yahoo. So, right there, if you had AOL.com email addresses, Hotmail.com email addresses, not so much Hotmail anymore, but Live.com and Yahoo.com for sure. Now those will definitely
Hey,
trigger
Nathan, buddy,
complaints. So you just want
Nathan.
to remove those. What? Yeah.
Hey, you were cutting off, man. You were cutting off. So you said live, and then you started to cut off.
Um. Hey Lewis, I think you're the one cutting out, not me. Oh.
No, no, it's okay.
Oh. So you guys can hear me fine.
Okay, okay. My computer's tripping. Okay,
All right. So where was I before I was rudely interrupted?
sorry, buddy.
So let's see, Live, Yahoo. You want to remove these email addresses. You want to remove them if you're worried about complaints. That's what I do. Uh, and you're going to be removing a lot of them, so it's easy to think, okay, well, I'm removing all these email addresses. It's not going to work, but that's not the case. You're going to have domain email address like branded emails. You're also going to have Gmails, which are iffy, but okay, I include them. The AOLs, though, those are the ones that you got to worry about. Same with Yahoo. Same with sbcglobal.net. Those will complain, and that could probably get you banned from MailChimp. Um, I've had issues before where um, I've had a high complaint rate, and I'll have to verify, where I got the leads, and I could just make up some story like it was at a trade show or whatever. And it works. It's not white hat, that's for sure. I don't consider it black hat, but it's probably a gray to dark gray area that I'm okay with. So it depends on you what you're okay with. They're not going to do anything because it's can spam compliant, as long as you have an address and unsubscribe on the bottom of the email or in the email, you're going to be okay. So it takes a little bit of figuring things out with email marketing. I've blacklisted tons and tons of domains doing cold emails, but you're not going to have this problem with lead nurturing emails. Those are opt-in, so you're not going to get people complaining left and right that you're spamming them. So, but for cold emails, yes, leads, I go with MailChimp. Um, but anything else inbound, you probably want to go with Aweber. Response, I hear is a pretty good option, but I prefer Aweber over Get Response.
Yep, yep.
Does that
Andrea asked, the question is, questions for me. Did I ever try the renting website model? The answer is hell no, nor will I ever go that route. I mean, no, no. The answer is no. Uh, no. You ask why? I'm just gonna say no. Uh, let's see. Uh, David says, "Do you create a million accounts?"
um, no. With Mailchimp, I guess. Um, he also asked if I'm using Mailchimp or Mandrill. I use Mailchimp. I haven't really gotten into Mandrill. Um, do I create a million accounts? No, I don't. I pay a large amount each month to Mailchimp, so they're probably a little more willing to work with me. But before, when I first got started, I did create like 6 or 7 different accounts to be under the free account, like up to 2,000 emails, like subscribers. And then they started figuring me out, and I had to clear my cookies and use proxies, and then it started being a lot of work, and I would only get like half of the list sent out to before they would stop it and ban me. So, um, so I had to learn a lot. Now, once I grew and like had like I don't know, I guess 30, 40,000 email lists, I the problems I had went down. Um, they didn't really bother me. Occasionally, I'll have somebody directly complain to them, and I'll have to provide proof of their opt-in. Which the last time it happened, I was so fed up with what was going on. I had other stuff, other drama, employee drama, and all the joys of running a business. So I was a little fed up, and I just responded saying, "Yeah, I talked to this person on the phone. They gave me their email. I guess they forgot about that. That was it." And then they reinstated my account. All it took was that. They didn't really care. So it's not something you should worry about as long as you're avoiding the emails that have a feedback loop or prominent feedback loop. So what other questions do we have, Lewis?
Oh, Andrea asked a little earlier. Give me an example on how you paint a picture for your clients. I don't really know when they're going to rank. It throws me off. Oh, it wasn't Andrea. Must have been John. Sorry, Andrea.
Um, it's what you don't want to sell rankings. So the first thing that you did was mess up in the beginning with expectations. You want to differentiate yourself, right? You don't want to be the same person, like the same as every other company selling rankings. Nobody cares about rankings. You can rank number one for 100 keywords, but if those keywords aren't getting traffic, what difference does it make? Now, what I understand, like, telling a business owner, okay, I could rank you here, here, and here. It's good for them to know that, but they hear the same thing every day. And a lot of business owners have gotten burned by SEO companies because people are getting into it without knowing how to execute, without knowing how to deliver. And I'm sure every single one of us here has heard from a client. Like if we're offering SEO and we're talking to somebody interested and we're giving them the whole spiel, how many times do you hear people say, "Yeah, that's what the other company said before"? Give me a two if you've heard that, heard a client be skeptical because of a bad experience with another SEO company. Yeah, exactly. So, it happens all the time. People are skeptical of SEO. And it comes with, saying, okay, you're going to be ranked within X amount of time. You don't want to do that. And you're probably wondering, well, what can I guarantee? You can guarantee higher visibility. That's what you can, because whether or not they're ranking on, the B spot or first page even, you could guarantee higher visibility because of the work that you're going to be doing. You're going to be claiming citations that they never had. You're going to be building other properties that are going to build value for the business, bringing direct traffic through one of these other major sites, Yelp, setting up Facebook, setting up the Bing local listing, Yahoo, whatever. You're creating higher visibility, which is leading to opportunity. And if you've listened last week at the end, it's all about opportunity for a business owner. You could say it's about results, which it really is. You could say it's about X amount of leads per week, number one rankings, but really the truth is it's opportunity. Opportunity is what matters to business owners because opportunity is why they started their business. Um, and whatever reason they're wanting to grow their business is for other opportunity. Maybe the opportunity is they want to create opportunity for their kids. They want to create opportunity to spend more time at home with their family, opportunity to go on vacation. Everything revolves around opportunity. So focus on opportunity. I would say, I guarantee higher visibility, which is going to lead to more opportunity. That way you're not in a time frame. You're not constrained. Rankings are only one part of what you're doing. And by focusing the conversation on visibility and opportunity, you're taking away the the time limit that you're giving yourself. You don't want to give a time limit to yourself. You want to keep these customers happy. You want to keep them motivated. You want to keep them trusting you. So focus on visibility and focus most of all on opportunity, and you'll be fine. So what else do we have here? Let's see. I guess Lewis went AWOL again.
No, no, no. I'm back. I had a talking with other people, man. I'm trying to juggle between two things here. Um. Let's see. Jason says I get a lot of. We already have a website and we're happy with it. For something like that, I would say something like this. I said, Mr. Customer, it may be that you're happy with it, but I'd say something about creating more conversions or keeping up with the times or uh, um, I'd hit. I would find out if there's a deeper pain point, and at the same time, you don't want to delve in too much because then at least you don't want to do it over a phone call. If he says at that time no, then you say you try to rebuttal it a couple of times, and then you say, you know what, I'll nurture you till you buy or die. That's it.
You know, at that point, I'm not sure I would really try and rebut. I mean, if somebody says, like, I get it all the time, and really the people that say that are usually not the decision maker. Now, if they are a decision maker and they're really happy with it, then I'll say, okay, so you're happy with the status quo for your business? Are you really happy with being below average, mediocre at best? And I'll actually say that, and I'll get a lot of people pissed off, but it's the truth. Some people will open their eyes and like, That's a little direct, but no, I'm not. And we'll be able to have a further conversation. But at this point, this isn't even a lead. If they're saying they already have a website and they're happy with it, they're not a lead. They're not qualified. They're a prospect. Not even a prospect. They're a suspect. You don't even know if they're interested or not. So, and once they turn you down that early on in the relationship, like in a cold call, that is it's usually not somebody that you want to spend your time with. So if you could drag on the conversation for 5 extra minutes with them by trying to give rebuttals, it's usually not worth your time. During those 5 minutes you can make another 10 phone calls and talk to somebody that is interested. And I would actually make it a goal to try and work out a deal with one of their competitors. Okay, you're happy with your website? Bam, look at what I did for your competitor. That's what I would do. That's what would motivate me.
Yep, yep. Jason says, but do they care about generating leads from their website? They just want a website. Jason, and I think that that's what you have to ask your potential client is, why do you want a website? You that's a little assumptive to say they just want a website. And I'll tell you, 99.99999% of the time, they're going to say, "I want more business." And then you hit them right back, and you say, "Well, sir, how do you plan on creating visibility to this website? If no one's coming here, you could have the most beautiful website in the world, but it won't make sales."
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think, Nathan?
I agree. I mean, it's like the whole misconception, like build it and they will come. For retail stores, retail stores think that, and then they're in a shitty location, and they wonder what happened. Nobody knows you're there. What do you think a website's going to do? Like if it's just a website, you're not trying to do anything with it. You're not using it as a marketing tool. Maybe they don't want more business. Maybe they want to use it to assist in support, or something like that, where people could, I don't know, maybe they could make something easier by having a website, and that's understandable. um, but rarely it's rarely a case like that. Usually, they're just dismissing you. If they're saying, "Oh, I don't need a website that brings in more business," it's because they just don't want to talk to you. That usually is what it comes down to. So they're probably somebody that would respond better to another form of marketing, or maybe they really just don't care. Maybe they're 6 months away from retiring and they're not selling the business; they're just shutting down. So why would they care? So people like that, I wouldn't focus too much time on. When you're cold calling, it's about finding people that are really ready, interested. They're ready to um, open their eyes and be open to um, forms of growth for their business. So for every person that says they're not interested or they don't care about that, there's tons of others that are. So I would just move on to the next.
Yep.
So
So,
I think we missed something. Chris said, "What percentage of your prospects start out as scraped leads?" That's that's a good one. I'm surprised to say that I don't really know the exact number, because all my scrape leads, I have people calling, like cold calling. I also use it for direct mailing. Like whenever I scrape with Mobile Renegade, there's three things. I could generate a call list. I could generate a actual direct mailing list with postcards, and I could generate an email list. So a lot. Um, I would guess at least 75 to 80% have to be um, starting out as a scraped lead. Um, I think that's what it's got to be. I know it's a huge amount because I have people cold calling every day. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of leads. So, and then I also do a lot of email marketing. But that's just how it goes. Now, um, I even though they start off as a scraped lead or a scraped prospect in a prospecting list, a lot of people become leads through different methods. So it's not all just cold calling. Some people will call in after receiving an email or a postcard or a letter. It just not all, even though it's scraped, not all leads are the same as far as outreach techniques and how to bring them into a lead. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's the best I could do, I think.
That was a good answer. Yeah. I'm a after these two webinars, I was talking to Nathan the other, I guess last week actually, and I was telling him I was really pumped about this series that, with time, it's going to become something bigger. And I want to ask the audience tonight, um, or I guess this morning out there for Andrea, but I want to know, what do you guys want to hear more of? I mean, we've covered lead nurturing. We're kind of delving into sales here and there. We covered on page SEO. I mean, what do you guys care to hear for?
And while people respond to that, John asked, Nathan, I feel like your webinar from last week could have any beginner running an SEO business. Does a beginner starting an SEO business to produce results really need to purchase any courses, or is the content on your website and your ebook and on the webinar enough? It depends on you. I think that's probably plenty. That's more than what I ever had, and I never bought any courses. When I started out, I was kind of back against the wall type of deal and had to just keep pushing, kind of bulldoze my way through and just get going. So really, you don't need to purchase any courses. Um, I think I feel confident that the information I've already shared, whether it's through the webinar, on the blog, or in the ebook, um, I think it's plenty of information to really get started and you know succeed. Not just get started, but actually grow and prosper. So that's my goal. I want to continue putting out content on the blog, webinar. If I ever do another product, which I don't know, but the goal here is no matter what I do for you guys, I want to make sure it's high quality and value packed. So I hope I'm doing a good job with that.
Hmm. Handling complaints, Chris says.
No, are those complaints as in complaints about like spam complaints or customer complaints?
Objections. Ah, more sales.
Gotcha. Um, just another thing to touch on because I'm looking at the chat. Um, is that Jason that said I'm not getting good results going after businesses with bad websites? You know why that is, Jason? Because most businesses with bad websites, they understand the value of being online, but they don't understand the value of a good website because their website sucks. It's probably not generating business for them, whether it's from the design or visibility. I mean, it could be multiple things. But you're absolutely right. A lot of my sales come from businesses with great websites. They have great websites that are probably better designed than what I would do. But there's something wrong. There's always something wrong. No matter how great a website is, there's always a reason why somebody would be willing to move. Maybe it's lack of support, or maybe they charge too much for like a 4 hour block at like $200 an hour for basic changes. There's always something that people are unhappy with, and it's the people with the better looking websites that are more open to online marketing, um, redesigns for conversions. They understand the importance. So, yeah, that's probably why you're not getting good results with people that have bad websites. Now, there is one exception, and that's those that are paying Yellowbook slash Haibu. They're paying a lot of money. Phone book advertising, they get a website package, and they're paying a lot of money. So that would be a good target.
Hmm. Chris says, are your cold calls, emails, direct mailings integrated?
Um, Meaning like let's say I send a postcard. If I send a postcard Monday and follow up with a phone call 2 weeks from then, and then start emailing like a month later. It's not really integrated, but it is. It's something I've done on a small scale. It's not something I've done on a large scale. The results have been decent, but I'm not sure that it's. I guess it depends on the level that you're doing things. So if you send out, let's say, 10,000 postcards, that's a lot of calls. Depending on like if you have employees or if you're still doing it all on your own one man show type deal. So I guess it just depends on the size that you're targeting. I guess if you send out 1,000 postcards, it makes it easy to do follow-up calls and then hit them with emails, and your success rate would be pretty high. But if you're trying to do it on a larger scale, where you're using the triple threat combo right there for everybody, whether you have a 30,000 person email list that you scraped, and you're wanting to hit everybody from each angle, the administrative time it would take wouldn't justify. It just wouldn't be justified in the end. I don't think. You would need help. You would need help to reach those people. Um, but as long as you're doing it small scale, it's a great way to grow. I did it when I was starting out. Well, not when I was starting out, but once I was like early stages of um, growth. I was able to do it with some success. I haven't done it nearly as much as I should now, but that's because there's so much going on. So, um, eh, but don't take my word for it. Why don't just do it yourself? See if it works for you. Not everything that works for me is going to work for you, and not everything that hasn't worked for me doesn't mean that it's not going to work for you. Um, So I would just think about it like that. Like test absolutely everything, whether you hear it from me or somebody else. Um, but ideally, your marketing should be integrated in some way. So whether it's direct mailing or retargeting with Facebook or emailing, whatever, you want to integrate your marketing in some way. It doesn't have to be like all three, bam, bam, bam. But you should look into it a little bit. So what do we have next, Lewis?
I feel like Jason has either read that I feel like Jason has John says I'm chatting on a dating site. No, no. I'm conducting business right now. My operations runs 24 hours a day, and I'm trying to build the other business. So I'm like juggling between the employees and all that. I wish I was on a dating site. No, not really. No, Jason, I feel like you've read that WSO that Nathan wrote because all your questions are so good, man. You're asking about how do they pay you. I would look. I would, just so that we don't string this too much longer. I would take a look at that because I bought it. I bought it like a month ago, man. And I told actually that's how me and Nathan met. I emailed him or I messaged him. I said, Nathan, dude, you changed my fucking life. I told him that. And he's like, "Wow, I never had anyone tell me that." Um, and everything that you're asking is in that WSO, man. Um, so we'll break it down. I mean, over a long stretch of webinars. But if you want to read some of that, I would encourage you to buy that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end up being about the same time period because we had a lot of questions this week, which is a good thing. But I don't know if we could really keep on going on and on and on. But I would love to help you guys and answer the questions. So you could email me at any time, and I will go through this and see the questions that I see, so we could kind of close it out. Um, and I'll briefly touch on everything just so we could kind of end this and keep this one under 2.5 hours. Let's see. There's something I just saw. Jason asked good niches to sell to. He thinks doctors and dentists are too saturated. Absolutely, they are. They're targeted more than any other industry. Lawyers are targeted too. So when you're thinking about industries to target, go with things that you feel aren't being pursued as much, and you'll probably find a good niche that way. You could also go on my blog. You'll see like an opt-in for top 64 niches, and there's a lot of ideas in there. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm just trying to skim through here. Is it a good idea to offer them a demo or mock-up? Show and proof you're real? No. Don't do that. You don't work for free. So don't don't do that. If you do your marketing, your sales, and your lead nurturing the right way, they don't need proof. They'll be able to see if you have a gallery, they'll be able to see past client work. If you don't have a gallery, add one and use templates on Theme Forest or My Theme Shop and stuff like that, just so they could see like samples of what you could do with those templates. Um, okay, let's see here. Uh, Andrea, yes, there is a post on the Income Bully blog about that. If you don't have a portfolio, so good call on that. I almost forgot. How do they pay me? I accept 95% of my payments checked by phone. It doesn't work in all countries, but it works here, so that's what I do. That's also in the ultimate guide, the blueprint to start your own web agency. Um, and John, I agree with you. Lewis is probably on a dating site.
No, man.
Virtual contracts, you could use like what is that Echo Sign, where they could actually sign it, or you could just print out like send them a Word document or a PDF and have them print it out, sign it, scan it, and send it back to you. And David, I don't know even how to say that. What is that? Ducracy? I don't even know how to pronounce it, but
Democracy?
I don't know. Docracy? Yeah, Docracy. That makes sense. I haven't checked it out. I haven't used it, so um, but yeah, I definitely will. It's free, so good deal. Um, I don't know. What about you, Lewis? Is there anything we need to add here? Um, I think
No,
we're
I think we're pretty much wrapping it up. We're gonna have more content coming out. We're gonna have more webinars coming through. Every Friday, obviously, starting at 8 p.m. Central. Um, uh, and I think I would love to hear your opinion on what you'd like to hear. What you'd like to talk about. If you have any questions, send it to Nathan's emails. You could send it to my Skype email. Doesn't matter. Um, we want to like Nathan said, we want to provide value. So um, let us provide value to you if you let us.
yeah, and right here, it says join us next Friday for content marketing. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if I really want to do that. Um, if you guys like that topic, cool. I'm not sold on it, so I will let you guys know. And at the end of this, once we end this, and you get taken to the thank you page, if you're not already opt in for the webinar only reminder list, make sure you get on that because um, that's going to be the only way to register uh, pretty soon here. So if you're not on that list, you won't be able to uh, join us, and that would suck. That would suck a lot. Um, David says we should do webinars during the week instead of Fridays. I really can't. I work like 18 hours a day during the week, so it's not really um, a uh, something that I could really
Feasible.
do. Yeah, yeah, that's the word. So, what kind of car do I drive? Yes, I do drive the Batmobile. No, I have a Lincoln Town Car. I love Lincolns. Um, one day I will get a Lamborghini. One day, but where's my Lambo or Ferrari? Why do I work so much? I do have fun. I do have fun. That's why we're doing the webinars because it's fun. I get to answer questions like what kind of car I drive and all that stuff. But yeah, guys, definitely let me know what you think, what kind of topics you want to see or hear. We will keep doing this Friday nights. Might not be convenient if you guys have something better to do and you want to go out and party. By all means, go ahead and do it. Um, but if you don't have anything going on Friday nights and you want to be here with us and learn a lot of cool things to get more clients, get sales, market your business, this is where you want to be. So if you could join us again, that would be cool. Let us know. Jason, how much do you make per year? Enough to where I pay more in taxes than most people ever make. So I hope that answers it. Anyway, hope to see you guys next week. Let us know what you want to hear. You'll be taken to the thank you page where you could opt in. And have a good night, everybody. Lewis, thank you for joining us again.
Oh yeah, I have a great time every time I'm here, man.
Good deal. So over and out. We'll put a replay up for you guys in the next day or so. And any questions, just shoot me an email. Over and out.
Later.